On August 1, 2025, the United States implemented a sweeping 25% tariff on all Indian imports, a move that has added significant strain to an already complex trade relationship between the two countries. The new duties, introduced under the pretext of addressing trade imbalances and punishing non-tariff barriers, are also being widely interpreted as a response to India's continued economic engagement with Russia, particularly in oil and defense procurement. Despite the scale and scope of this tariff, one of the harshest imposed by the US on any single country, India is choosing not to retaliate. Instead, it remains actively engaged in high-level trade negotiations with Washington, aiming for a broader and more durable trade agreement. Behind the scenes, however, US officials have expressed growing frustration over what they describe as India's slow pace in making meaningful concessions. The US wants rapid progress, particularly the elimination of tariffs across key American export sectors. The impact on India's export-driven industries is expected to be substantial. Electronics and technology products, including iPhones manufactured in India, will face significant price pressures. The pharmaceutical sector is particularly exposed. Generic drugs from India account for nearly half of the US supply, and the tariff could disrupt both cost structures and supply chains. Other affected sectors include gems and jewelry, textiles, and processed foods. Compounding the issue is the fact that competing exporters from East Asia and the European Union are facing less aggressive tariff hikes, putting Indian exporters at a competitive disadvantage. While domestic industry groups in India are raising alarm bells about shrinking margins and potential job losses, the Indian government is presenting a measured stance. Officials have called the talks fantastic, pointing to a willingness to lower tariffs in some areas and ease select non-tariff barriers. However, they remain firm on protecting sensitive sectors such as agriculture and dairy, which continue to be off the table. India's decision not to respond with countermeasures is rooted in a strategic calculation. With global trade dynamics shifting and geopolitical alliances in flux, New Delhi appears determined to preserve room for maneuver, maintaining its ties with both the Western partners like Russia, China, and other BRICS members. Officials view the tariff escalation as temporary and see long-term value in strengthening the India-US trade relationship. Looking ahead, a US trade delegation is expected to visit India later this month, with both sides aiming to finalize a broader trade framework by October. Whether those discussions lead to a substantive breakthrough or further stalemate will likely depend on how far each side is willing to bend, and how much geopolitical flexibility either is prepared to sacrifice in the process. This is a critical moment for India-US trade relations. What unfolds over the next few weeks could reshape not only bilateral commerce but also the balance of economic power in Asia and beyond. That is all for today. Until next time.